want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil your love with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. No day for fantasy. Breathe just like a wing, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. With gods in the weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil your love with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make
All right, guys, let's get this party started. If you want a reading, be sure and visit my stand store. It is linked in the description below. And as always, we have a fair use, a disclaimer. As you come in, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share the video if you like it. Let's get it going. Let's get it going, guys. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Astrology for Mystics with Jenn. I'm Jenn. I'm an astrologer, and I investigate using the tool of astrology. And as many of you, Sebastian's army, know, I've been mapping him, trying to find him. That's the main goal, right? But good to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's been, I've been all over the place, literally been all over the place, but thank you guys so much. I'm so glad to be talking to you guys tonight about the case moving forward because that's what it looked like a few months ago. A few months ago, I put out 2 videos talking about divine justice. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Divine justice is on its way. And I'm very excited to show you guys the charts tonight. Hello, Jeff. Thank you so much for your support and always having my back. Hey, Cinderella. Jill, good to see you. D Green is in the house. Elaine, hello, babes. Good to see ya. Orb Attraction, hey, honey. Thank you so much. Jasper, hello. Hi from Georgia. Hi from Tennessee, honey. Witchy Mama, thank you for always doing the timestamps and being such an asset. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. And, I don't know if you guys know that, Jill has been here several times. She has been boots on the ground, and we appreciate her so very much. Hello, Shauna. Thank you so much for being here, for being a great asset. You all are great assets. Sebastian's army, we need all of us to be looking out, listening, and trying to understand the story of where Sebastian can be found. So I appreciate all of you for being here so much. Hey, Sassy, good to see you, darling. Good to see the real Trish. Hey, honey, thank you. Jen is definitely in the house. Mama Rissa, good to see you, honey. Good to see you, Mama Rissa. I was so happy to see you in chat last night. I was like, Mama Rissa. Yeah, I mean, every address, every friend, family member, associate, they matter. They matter in the grand scheme of things, I think. Anyway. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So, what I want to show you first, before I start flipping y'all out, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, I changed my handle a bit. Sorry for any confusion. Oh, I see, I see, I see. I see who you are. I see the horse. So now I know who you are. Um, But what I want to do first is I want to show you some of the past readings because I think that that's going to help you guys understand, especially if you haven't watched the videos that I posted back in May. You're going to understand because from May to December, we were watching to see if anything at all will come through the pipeline. Yes, even though I am, I consider Jeff and I consider Seth like a brother. We have been invested in this case since day one. I mean, the first hour that Sebastian was missing, I began to map him. I investigate in a whole other way, and it works. If it didn't work, I wouldn't keep doing it. I mean, I've been doing this for years. I wouldn't be wasting my time. Okay. I understand astrology in a different way. And I try to teach that every time I go live, showing charts. I try to teach it. It's really not that difficult, but it's difficult when you don't really watch it all the time or I get it. But these 2 videos that I put out aren't showing charts. I'm giving you dates. I'm giving you the tea. And I don't even know the tea. I mean, Seth don't tell us. He keeps stuff close to the vest. And I think a lot of times, I want to know, but then a lot of times I don't because I like to test. I like to test the work. And I consider this a great work, because Sebastian is one of many hundreds that I have mapped. So, with that being said, I just want to call your attention on a couple of videos, okay? And if you haven't watched them after this live, go back and watch them. Go back and watch them. Hit the thumbs up, give this work a like, a share, okay? Because I work very hard and I would appreciate the support with this work. So this this video is called Astraea in Pisces. And I've got two videos. So one is implementing the justice that I was seeing in May. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to keep coming back around. Like I'm getting the chills now. I'm just like so excited. This is going to keep coming back around. And when I talk about divine justice, she's justice. She's holding the scales, guys. I mean, it's talking about the courts. It's talking about courts. And I've had this out for 2 months. So I want you guys to listen to a little bit of it. I've even got it timestamped for you guys. I even have it timestamped. But I want you to listen to a little bit of it because the other video that I'm going to be showing you is where I'm talking about May through December because there's important dates to watch. So we start with Astraea, the justice, and then we have to look at the dark moon because the dark moon for Sebastian is also about the courts, the law. And wasn't there a wasn't there some lawful things going on before he disappeared? And it was supposed to be going on after he disappeared with his stepdad? Wasn't he in some litigation with his daughter? Yes, absolutely, yes. So we have to bring it all together, and that's what I'm for. Because you don't have to understand the astrology to understand what the hell I'm saying here. Okay. So, first off, let's do Astraea. Astraea and Pisces. I want you guys to listen to this video. And like I said, I've got it timestamped right here for you with the dates. So we are looking at May through December 1st. And then after this, I will be putting out more videos of dates because I want you guys to know that I know what I'm talking about. I may not see everything, but I'm kind of, doing a pretty good job. And I think you're going to hear it. I think you're going to hear that this is a good job here. Okay. A good work for these kids that have no voice. And I am investigating where they can be found. Okay. So without further ado, let's listen to this video because for those of you that have not, that didn't know, this was posted in May. So here we go. We need to talk about Sebastian Rogers because Astraea, the divine justice, is not just in Pisces. She is hitting specific points in Sebastian's chart at very specific times in 2026 and 2027. And those dates matter. We're not just guessing here. We're tracking Astraea as she moves through Pisces, the sign of what is hidden, what's unresolved, what's beneath the surface. And in Sebastian's case, Astraea is activating the foundation of his chart. On May 6, 2026, Astraea reaches a 4 degree and 56 minute. This places her directly on his IC, and the IC is the home, the genealogy, the private environment where something begins or ends. So when divine justice in Pisces sits here, this isn't public yet. This is something rooted in the home. This is something foundational, something that has not been fully seen. And this is a trigger point. Write this down, okay? Then on August 31st, 2026, Astraea, she will come back over the same degree in retro. So first, I'll talk about May 6th. And hey, Seth, good to see you. So at first, I'll talk about May 6th. And, after now that, that all of this has come out, it would be interesting to know when this connection with the attorney would have taken place, Seth. May 6th is a trigger point. I literally say May 6th is a trigger point. And then I go on to talk about what else. And the date here after May 6th, let me go back. So May 6th is a trigger point. And then we go to August 31st, which we haven't gotten to yet. So this is the justice. Okay. I'm only talking about the justice that is coming upon Sebastian and going to just sit there with his mom, with his home, with his family roots, and the foundation. August, so May 6th, and then August 31st. Write this down, okay? Then on August 31st, 2026, Astraea, she will come back over the same degree in retrograde. And that's not random, it's a revisit, something re examined, something questioned again, something that didn't resolve the first time, like maybe taking out the trash, that video. Because this is where details can definitely resurface of things that were hidden or where something that was just mess that has gotten overlooked that's going to get another look. So maybe something that was missed that's going to get another look. That's August 31st. And I'm asking everyone that watches this video to write it down. And that's something that we say a lot on this channel because when I give dates and I ask you or we ask you to watch and to write it down, I'm telling you that I want you to test me, test it, watch it. That's why on this channel we are called watchers. Members are watchers here. So May 6th, the first sweep through with the divine justice Astraea. And then we come to August 31st, and now she's going to be in retrograde. She's coming back. She's coming back. And she is revisiting things from the past of home with mom, things that we didn't quite see with the investigation. And so what this lawsuit I feel like is doing, in my opinion, they are going to have to go back into their files and look at the things that they could have missed with Seth, be quiet. They're going to have to go back and they're going to have to, the law enforcement, DCS, they're going to have to go back because justice is calling, literally calling for Sebastian Rogers. Okay, so we have May 6th, August 31st, now Astraea is in retrograde. And then on December 11th, just 4 days after Sebastian's 18th birthday, this is where it's going to intensify. And now Astraea will form multiple aspects at once. This is the timeline that I'm really watching the aspects. So I'm saying that December 11th, 4 days after Sebastian's birthday, she's coming back again. She's going to come back. Only this time she's not in retrograde. She's moving forward. She's moving forward with a vengeance because now there's a lot of aspects that is hitting the birth chart of Sebastian Rogers. And as it does, there is going to be more and more things that are going to be, I think, that's going to have some clarity. So again, I'm talking about December 11th. So we've got May 6th, August 31st, and then December 11th. Because we're playing the tape through to after his 18th birthday, just to see, just to watch and observe what's taking place, what's going to happen. But 4 days after his 18th birthday, on the 11th, Astraea will oppose Mars in Virgo. And Mars in Virgo is going to be in the third house. Mars will actually oppose the state of Tennessee's Mercury in their ninth house of Virgo. And we'll talk about that. It's going to be in an opposition in that third house, which is about neighbors. It's about communications. It's about the surroundings, the local environment. It's also about, so I say neighbors. And isn't that something? Because what it's going to do is it's going to oppose the state of Tennessee. Well, the Mercury of the state of Tennessee was actually in transit when Sebastian Rogers went missing, but it was in Pisces. So the state of Tennessee wasn't seeing things clearly. But as Mars comes to oppose the state of Tennessee, well, that's when they're going to see the light, I think. There is going to be something having to do possibly with neighbors. And we do now see what the neighbors said, what they heard. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not any of that stuff. I'm an astrologer. And what I can tell you is that these dates are very important. And I'm definitely watching May 6th. That's past and gone. Be interesting to know how that trigger point took place. And then we have August 31st and December 11th. So let's continue. Let's continue and see. I can't really hear it good on my end. I hope you guys can. Siblings, ring cameras, just cameras in general. And it can point to conflicting narratives, movement versus truth, a lot of action that could be questioned again. And this square to Mercury that is going to be taking place in the sixth house, that is actually Mercury will be in Sebastian's first house. This is going to be a lead. There's some type of lead here with communications. Oh, I'm thinking a lead. I'm thinking a lead here. Huh. Hey, Lady Freedom. Good to see you, honey. Thank you for being here. Another asset that's been boots on the ground. Sebastian's army is, we need us all, and we are all doing our part. But I'm saying a lead. There's something that could be coming about on December 11th. 4 days after his 18th birthday. Interesting. Mercury is about information, it's about siblings, it's about courts in Sagittarius, it's about statements, reports, belief versus fact. Could be about a church, religious, philosophical, universities. But the sixth house is about the daily routine. It sounds like I'm talking about depositions. I don't know the details. So this is critical with Sebastian's chart on December 11th. And a square here suggests with Mercury that information isn't going to fully align. Statements could be challenged, details that don't match the bigger story, that kind of stuff. But this is going to be a back and forth until December. So it's not like we're just going to come into this day. This energy with Astraea and Pisces constantly coming into conversation with Sebastian's fourth house of home that I see that is going to bring a lot of conversations up that maybe we are just, finally going to have some type of clarity. But the clarity probably won't come while Astraea is in Pisces, but it could bring some revelations, that's for sure. I mean, it's just not simple. It's layered, so we have a lot of tension, pressure. The tension is the oppositions that I'm seeing. The pressure is the squares. And there could be some openings to some truth with the sextiles. Like Venus is going to be in Scorpio. She's going to be sextiling Astraea. So there's some type of, Venus and Scorpio. We'll talk about that. But all the while, Astraea and Pisces, it could be where things are piecing together. They're merging through contradictions. And we just have to remember who Astraea is. She left humanity because we were too corrupt. She doesn't rush in, she waits. And as she moves through Pisces, I don't think that she's going to expose everything all at once. I think she's going to allow some misalignment, some confusion, and some pressure to get to the truth. So the key dates are May 6th. I think that this is some type of initial activation. And then on August 31st, we'll probably revisit. And then December 11th, there's going to be some type of confrontation of truth. So this is how this timeline is unfolding with the divine justice. It's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be totally obvious, but I think that there will be some structuring here. And of course, the video is this is 6 minutes in, and the video is 11, a little over 11 minutes. And I am talking about the rest of the video. I'm basically talking about what the divine justice really means in astrology, what her myth is. I'm talking about she is an asteroid, and it kind of the second half of the video is just basically an education about who she really is, and how we can read her in our chart, because the divine in front of justice matters, because there is a divine justice. And welcome to the members, guys. Well, I mean, welcome to the watchers. I wanted, I saw some of you in here, and I was really hoping that you would get the membership. I was really hoping that you would get the membership. And yeah, I like to see you in green too, Sassy. I like to see you, girl, in green. So I'm really happy that you were able to receive one. And for all the other one, I appreciate you guys, because all of you are Sebastian's army. If you're in this chat, you are Sebastian's army, and we are watchers. And so welcome to the watchers. You're welcome, honey. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being a support system for Seth, because, it's not easy. It's not easy. There's no handbook having a missing kid. And, the other thing that I wanted to show you, the other video that I wanted to show you is another one that I did around the same time frame, because I started to notice that there was not just divine justice, but there was also a darkness that needed to be pushed forward. So anytime we go through, certain periods in our life where we have a dark moon return, it can be serious stuff that's going down. It's very pivotal in our life when we go through a dark moon return. So the fact that Sebastian is having this dark moon return during this justice period is so important. It is so pivotal in this case. And that's the reason why I did both of them pretty much back to back. I put out the Astraea video, then I put out the dark moon, and I wanted to give you a timeline of dates to watch. So even on this video, I'm giving you the timeline. I'm giving you dates. And I'm also telling you a little bit about what I think that it could be, that I just feel like, oh, Mama Rissa, you're so sweet. You're so sweet, Mama Rissa. Thank you. Mama Rissa just gave 5 memberships out too. You are so sweet. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the watchers. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, if you are subscribed to this channel, more than likely you are a part of Sebastian's army, and we appreciate you. Thank you, Mama Rissa. Thank you, honey. I just love you. I just love to see you in chat. It's just so Mama Marissa is just a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? She's just a breath of fresh air. I really appreciate you. And yes, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. If you haven't done that, it's okay. Even if you're in the bushes, just hit the thumbs up. Even if you're a hater, I mean, just hit the thumbs up. Support the good work, because, even if you're even if you're a hater, I mean, astrology is a psychology. It's a great tool to use when we investigate. And Not many of us do it, but hey, the ones of us that do it, you can see the fruit. The proof is in the pudding, okay? So with this video, I want to show you guys, I want to educate you a little bit about, we all know what happened. The first half or the first part, I'm talking about who Sebastian is and his disappearance. But I would say that most of us know who Sebastian is. And if you don't, you can always go back and watch this video. But let's go ahead and get into phase one, because this is in May. And now that we know what we know, I want you to hear what this
Together.
May, uh, what the May energy was looking like, right? Because May was significant with the justice. Phase is the first house activation, which is going to be taking place between May 5th and May 14th. The month of May begins with a rapid fire sequence of dark moon Lilith transits. In astrology, the dark moon represents the shadow. It's shadow work, the primal power, and the suppressed truths that lie beneath the surface. The specific point in the chart follows a 9-year cycle. So basically, I'm saying that every 9 years, we have a dark moon return. And it's a pivotal moment when we have this because it pushes us forward. There can be a lot of disordered aggression with it, but it will push forward. And so with Sebastian, I think what it's for me, I don't know. I mean, I'm like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know everything. I don't know. But for me, I'm thinking that it could be that the dark moon return for Sebastian is going to go back and it's going to reflect all of the tension that he had with the court system, the DCS, the punishments that he would get because he would talk to people, and the things that would take place that brought him disordered aggression, that brought him not just, the disordered aggression, but also a lot of pain that had to do with our courts, the justice system, not just here in Tennessee, but also in California. The combination, right? So I want to, that's what I'm thinking that is taking place here as I'm doing the video. Okay. Because you got to remember, this was done in May. All right. This was done in May. A dark moon return occurs only once every 8 years and 10 months. And we just rounded up to 9 years. So every 9 years, the cycle comes. Sebastian is currently in the window of his second major return, a fated threshold that coincides with his transition into adulthood as he reaches for 18. This is a time when what has been hidden or ignored is often forced into the light for a reckoning. On May 5th at 8 p.m., the dark moon will meet Sebastian's Mars, the same exact degree in Sagittarius. This is the spark and activation of his physical signature and the energy of action. It could certainly have to do with the reflection and the disordered aggression of the vehicle that could be in question. On May 6th at 1:30 p.m., Astraea in Pisces, the asteroid of justice, reaches his IC. It's the lowest point that he has at home with mom, with his family roots. And this is going to be touching the very foundation of his home. On May 8th at 2:30 a.m., the dark moon in Sag will be at the same degree as his Cupid in Sagittarius. And this is where we feel the heartbeat of the beloved sun in the middle of the night. On May 9th at 5:30 p.m., the dark moon will reach his sun degree, his vitality, how he shines. This is a moment of alignment where his essence and the hidden world meet. On May 14th at 11:30 a.m., the energy shifts to his natal Vulcan, and this represents the blacksmith, the forging of something strong out of intense pressure. Then we come to phase 2, which is a fated crossroads, and that's going to be between May 17th and July 7th. On May 17th at 4. Oh, Seth, I've got tons of May. So in May on this video, I've got May 5th, May 6th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 14th. May 17th and May 19th, May 30th. I mean, I'm just like I'm trying to document and record everything that I'm seeing that's having to do with Sebastian in the court system. Is basically what I'm doing because that's what I'm thinking that is. It's not just the court system, but it also could be, a long travels. But this is, Sag that he has, that's I'm really talking about the court system. So it would be interesting for you to go back and to see and us compare what dates, maybe like, what dates, if it was even in May, that you was first introduced to this attorney. 4 a.m. until noon. So this is May 17th, 4 a.m. till noon. This is a critical window because the North Node, this destiny, is going to transit to Sebastian's IC, that low point in Pisces that he has. While the South Node, which is about the past and where he's been, crosses his MC in Virgo. And this is a crossroads, an alignment that often brings a breakthrough in public perception. On May 30th at 2:30 a.m., the dark moon returns to his natal Astraea in his first house. The theme of waiting for justice is echoed once more. On July 6th and 7th, the focus shifts to communications. On the 6th, at 6:30 p.m., the dark moon touches his Mercury. And by the early hours of July 7th, between 1:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m., it will touch his polar descendant. And this is a window for news or for a message to cross the veil. Then we come to phase 3, which is the great return. On August 6th at 5 a.m., Hygeia and Jupiter in Leo will meet his point of fortune. As the sun rises, we see the energy of cleansing and expansion. It's a beacon of hope for a discovery that brings order to chaos. On August 6th. So that is major because it's going into Sebastian's house where the courts, the judge, there could be a decision. I'm just what I'm doing in May when I'm making this video is I'm just reading the chart. And I mean, like I said in the very beginning, just because Jeff and I feel so much, about Sebastian's case, and just because we are friends with Seth, I'm telling you, Seth keeps things close to his vest. He does not tell us what is going on because even though we are friends, he doesn't want to let anybody know what he is doing behind the scenes. He may say, "Oh, I've talked to this attorney, back in January." I mean, he may say, "I have, I've got these, documents I can't show you." He could say all kinds of things, but he is not going to say anything that I could slip up and tell you guys and make his life miserable. So Seth Rogers has always, since day one, kept things to himself. And it's got to be very difficult to not be able to share with your close friends what's going on. It's got to be very difficult for him, very lonely. But it is what it is, and he has to protect the integrity of what he is doing behind the scenes, and I totally respect that, and so does Jeff. 18th at 9:30. So this is the 18th, now we're going into the August 18th, and like I said, I've got these 2 videos time-stamped where you can go back and you can watch these videos at your leisure, okay? And you can try to understand it a little bit better, all right? 3 a.m. This is the peak, the natal return of the dark moon Lilith in his first house. At 17 years old, nearly 18, Sebastian meets this 9-year cycle. It's a moment of profound personal power and the potential for a resurfacing of what has been lost. On August 31st at 11:30 p.m., Astraea, once again, is going to come back to Sebastian's IC in Pisces. But this time, she will be in retrograde. And so we return home to the foundations once more, looking for divine justice. On September 4th at 11:30 p.m., the South Node meets his trans Pluto in Leo. This marks a transformation in the higher narrative of Sebastian's story. At the edge of the night, the old story begins to shift. On December 11th at 6:30 p.m., Astraea is going to come back once again to his natal IC. Only this time, she's moving forward again. And it's this day that could also bring a divine justice. So we're going to watch. We're going to observe, not with anxiety, but with intention. Because between May and December, Sebastian's chart is speaking so loud, more loudly than it has since he went missing. We remain the observers, the watchers, keeping the path lit, waiting for the moment the hidden finale meets the light. If you have any information, oh man, if that doesn't give you chills, my goodness gracious. It does me, man. It gives me the chills. I know that I'm here for it. I know that y'all are here for it. And it takes a special type of courage to do what Seth has done, and I'm so super proud of him. I'm so super proud of him. So the way that I want to take this show now is I want to take you to another video that I've just posted, but I'm going to stop it. And as I do, I'm going to show you the chart of that law. Okay. I talk about some of the laws in the lawsuit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duel it out, which means I'm going to show Sebastian's chart and then I will show the law chart next to it because we have got to have this recorded for later dates so we can come back and we can look at this time period and see how it worked out with the way that I'm reading it. Okay. Because I think that that is going to help me in the future. And it's also going to help us understand possibly what connections Sebastian has with these laws. Because when you are born, your chart is not, it's telling your whole life, everything about that life. Okay. And so I think that this is so important too that I share this with you guys and I record it as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and get going. And I think that what I want to do is I want to pull up the let's just go ahead and pull up the last one that I did. Both of them are 8 minutes long. Maybe I have, let's start with the last one that I uploaded. And then if I think I've got other laws in the other video, but let's go ahead and start with this one. Let's go ahead and start with this one. Hold on just a second. Let me get this. Okay, let me skip that. Okay, let's start with this one. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is I am going to show this video, and as I talk about a law, I'm going to stop it, and then I'm going to duel out the charts, and we're going to look at the law. Okay. Yeah, Mama Marissa, I am too. Just absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud. He is doing everything he can for Sebastian. He shows what a true father does for their son. He's not stopping, and we're backing this. Exactly. Exactly. And, the injustice would be silent. Justice is never silent. You got to make noise. You got to make noise. And the fact that he is the number one advocate should tell everybody everything that they need to know, right? He is Sebastian's voice. Whew, his hero. Y'all gonna make me cry. Stop. And this is why I do so that I can go back and look at all the healing I've done. Was just telling this to Witchy Mama when we were speaking. Yeah, synchronicities. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. Here we go, guys. We're about to pull this up as soon as we hear about the first law. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. There has been a tremendous amount of discussion surrounding the lawsuit filed by Seth Rogers against the Tennessee Department of Children's Services and the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. But I've noticed something pretty important. Many people are asking, what exactly is Seth suing for? How can a government agency be sued? Why is this in federal court instead of state court? So I want to slow everything down and explain what this lawsuit actually means from a legal perspective. These are allegations that will now have to be tested through evidence, depositions, witness testimony, and ultimately a judge and possibly even a jury. So let's walk through this legal framework together. Why federal court? Most lawsuits involving accidents or negligence stay in the state court. This lawsuit is different because Seth Rogers is alleging violations of federal constitutional rights. The primary vehicle for that is a federal law known as 42 USC Section 1983. Section 1983 allows citizens to sue government officials when, while acting under color of state law, they violate constitutional rights. This law exists because government agencies have tremendous power. And when that power is abused or when the constitutional protections are allegedly ignored, Congress created a way for citizens to seek relief in federal court. The Civil Rights Act of 1871, the 42 USC 1983, is what we want to focus on right now. That's right. That's what we want to focus on right now with the chart. And so I'm pulling that up right now because we have, when it comes to the work that I do, everything that has ever been created, if it has a creation, we can pull the chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the chart, Sebastian, and the 1871 42 USC. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. So I'm going to remove, well, actually, no. I'm going to have to remove that to share the entire screen like I do. Here we go. Here we go, guys. We're about to see it together. We're about to see the connections with Sebastian's chart with these charts. Okay, hold on. This is where it gets really exciting for me because the Civil Rights Act of 1871 implements the 42 USC, which is the Section 1983 that we are going to be talking about. In this lawsuit, this is a big deal. Okay, big deal. So this is April 20th, 1871. And we're just going to look, I'm just going to look at this chart real quick, and I can already tell you, you're going to be amazed. You're going to be amazed, just as I was amazed when I could cry right now just looking at it. You're going to be amazed, just as I am amazed seeing this chart with Sebastian's. What I want to do first is I want to show you. Actually, I got to get Sebastian on the left because the way that I do charts, left brain, right brain, I've got to do it a certain way. So let's do it like this. Here we go. Now, Sebastian is on the left. This is his birth chart. And the civil rights is right here. This is the law that we are discussing right here. And what I told you was the dark moon return is coming. Okay? The dark moon is coming. It's a finale to see how this is really going to work itself out. And we know that the divine justice, she is continuously coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, sitting on his IC. And in the class today, for you guys that are members, you can go back and you can watch the fourth house. And the IC is very important because it's the lowest point of our home with mom, with family, with our foundation, and the internal emotions that we deal with on the daily. So, the 2658, what we do is we just play the numbers game. We're just going to see if there's any degrees in the other chart that match. And of course, we do. We see that this 2658 with the dark moon is right here with a wake up call. There is a wake up call with the values, with money, with attention on children, publicity, investigation. That is what Palace does. She shakes things up. She is the higher octave of Uranus. She will shake things up in the public image of Sebastian Rogers. That means, and I'm just now starting. Guys, I'm just now starting. This dark moon return in August, when the dark moon comes to this 2658, the dark moon is going to activate. Okay. You know what activate means? Just because you haven't ever heard of astrology, don't make it harder. Don't make it harder. This is very easy to understand because I'm telling you that there is going to be a shakeup, an investigation. It's public and it has to do with things of the past, with the courts, with the justice. Judges and attorneys are involved in this, right? They are involved. And it's going to activate when the dark moon activates this investigation because she's an investigator. She's going to shake things up. This is Palace. She's going to shake things up and she's going to give them a wake up call. And there could be other people that are going to get involved because civil rights is a big deal. Now, watch this. The dark moon for Sebastian is actually sitting here in the everyday, the health of the courts with the Civil Rights Act of 1871, 42 USC, Section 1983. I could not believe this when I saw it. I could not believe it. And I hope that you guys understand that there is so much more to this chart. And I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you. Because a lot of times when I'm speaking about the state of Tennessee, I will talk about this 1742. When I am talking about the TBI, I will talk about this 1311. It's just degrees, it's just numbers, okay? But let me just show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about because I can show you better than I can tell you. Okay? I can show you how it's coming about with the TBI in the state of Tennessee. The TBI, let's go ahead and pull them. Let's go ahead and pull the state of Tennessee so I can show you. We the people with the state of Tennessee, and the civil rights, let's go ahead and pull it up. Tennessee as a whole, okay, Tennessee as a whole, with the civil rights. Tennessee, well, the 1742, that is we the people, the communications, the protesting is the 1742. The dark moon at a 17. Oh, shit. Let me go back. That's not the one. That was the amended one. Let me go right back up here to the 1871. Where did that go? Tennessee and Civil Rights Act of 18. There it is. There it is. Okay. So the 1742, right here with we the people, there is a divine justice. There is Astraea, and she's in Cancer. So it has to do with home. Cancer is about home. It's about mom. It's about emotions. And there is a justice that is connecting this law with the state of Tennessee and we the people. We the people, the Constitution, the constitutional rights with the state of Tennessee and justice. Because this percentage sign looking thing, that is Astraea. That's who I've been talking about. She is divine justice. She brings justice. That right there is something we are going to really keep an eye on when we see that transit, especially going forward now. Especially going forward now. And then we look at the TBI because that was the state of Tennessee, guys. Now we're going to look at the TBI because this matters. TBI is going to be on the left. And again, we're going to have the Civil Rights Act of 1871 on the right. Here we go. The 1311. What is the 1311? It's the communications with mom and home. It is the ring cameras because it's the third house. The ring cameras of mom. The third house of communications, that 1311, is where there's going to be a lot of energy with this Civil Rights Act, with the constitutional rights. And guys, the 1311 is also here in the ninth house of courts with a lot of energy. And what the court is going to want with this constitutional right is they are going to want all of the work that they have done, all of that, all of the documentations for the court, because the ninth house rules the court. It rules justice. It rules attorneys, judges, all of that. All of that. And I'm not going to bring up Seth's chart, but I want to just tell you right now that now I understand, Seth, why you are so connected to the TBI right here with money and the things that are hidden that we don't see that are very murky with this Pisces energy, because God's will is going to be done. And there's a relationship within the TBI, and that would be Brandon Carter. So it's very interesting to see. Very, very interesting to see that that dark moon is connected with Sebastian to this Civil Rights Act of 1871, 42 USC, Section 1983. And that's that's one law. I just love it. I absolutely love it, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Because it's showing us that there is this major connection with Sebastian and that law that he was born with. It didn't just automatically appear. He was born with that. And that constitutional right was born with Sebastian in 1871. Can't make it up. And that's another saying on this channel. We can't make it up. Can't make it up. So let's see if I talk about another law in this one. Because this case isn't simply asking, did someone make a mistake? It's asking, did government officials violate federally protected rights? And that is a much different question. One of the central issues appears to involve the 14th Amendment. Most people hear due process and immediately think criminal cases, but due process also protects parents. The Supreme Court has long recognized that parents have a fundamental liberty interest in the care, custody, and upbringing of their
Nobody talks
oh my
about how
gosh,
to start exercises when your belly sticks out like this.
children. According to the allegations and the complaint, DCS conducted two investigations involving Sebastian before he disappeared. The lawsuit alleges Seth Rogers was never informed of those investigations. He had no clue that they existed. And if those allegations are proven, the plaintiffs will argue that Seth's parental rights were impaired because he was denied the opportunity to participate in decisions affecting the son. Again, those allegations remain to be proven in court. Now, let's talk about what I believe may become one of the most important legal concepts in this entire lawsuit: deliberate indifference. This is much more than negligence, gross negligence. Negligence means someone made a mistake. Deliberate indifference, however, means officials knew of a substantial risk and consciously disregarded it. That is something I think that we need to talk a little bit more about. Okay. I think we need to talk a little bit more about deliberate indifference, because it's not just about, oh, they didn't handle the procedure. They didn't handle the investigation right. This goes beyond negligence. Now we are getting into some juice, because the immunity and all of that, when we get into the deliberate indifference, this is changing the ball game here, I think, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Michelle became a member. Oh, honey, I thought you were already a member. What happened? I thought you was already a member. Good to see you, girl. I always love it when you're here. I love when you message me. And, I just love all of you guys being here and being a support system for Seth, for the calls, the great calls, because this isn't just about Sebastian. This is also about our future kids and changing the way that these investigations are done. But but yeah, Michelle, thank you so much, honey. Good to see you. Orb says, welcome again. Welcome again, babe. Welcome, babe. Thank you for renewing your membership. So appreciate you so much. So much. So, the deliberate indifference, this legal standard often appears in civil rights litigation. The attorney may attempt to prove officials knew of a substantial risk to Sebastian, yet consciously disregarded that risk. This standard requires more than ordinary negligence. Do you understand? Thank you, Jill, for the Cash App. You are a sweetheart. Thank you so much for y'all support. Thank you. But yeah, so the deliberate indifference, this is where it's really stepping up. This is where the attorney can really step it up, because all he has to prove is this: that they knew that there was a risk. That's it. Deliberate indifference. That is a much higher legal standard. According to the allegations, DCS investigated Sebastian Rogers twice. The complaint further alleges discussions occurred regarding foster care placement. If those allegations are supported by evidence, the plaintiffs may argue that officials recognize concerns serious enough to consider removing Sebastian from his home, yet failed to notify Seth Rogers, a parent who says he was ready and willing to care for his son. The question federal court may eventually ask is not simply whether mistakes occurred. The question then becomes, what did officials know? And when did they know it? And what actions or inactions followed? Another issue people have asked about is why Sebastian's disabilities are discussed throughout the complaint. Sebastian reportedly had autism and a rare chromosomal condition known as 6q27 chromosomal deletion. Those disabilities are important because they may affect how professionals evaluate safety concerns, behavior, communications, and necessary supports. Children with developmental disabilities often require accommodations that recognize disability related needs rather than treating those behaviors as intentional misconduct. The complaint also references allegations regarding physical discipline and humiliation. Those allegations have not been proven in court yet. If evidence shows that government agencies were aware of Sebastian's disabilities, aware of allegations of inappropriate discipline, and aware that some of the behaviors being punished were related to his disabilities, plaintiffs may argue those facts should have influenced how DCS assessed his safety and what protective actions were appropriate. Whether those Yes, Cassie, thank you for your super chat, baby, your super sticker. Seth has said that that the case is still open, but what I am I don't know if I said that it was closed, but none of the cases in Tennessee ever get closed. They become a cold case, but they're never officially closed. Okay. So cases won't ever be officially closed, but when they start to go cold, you know it. The parents definitely know it. Facts ultimately support claims under the Americans with.
Crushing the woke left,
sorry, guys.
not Johnny Garrett.
Um, will depend on the evidence and on whether the legal requirements for those statutes are met. The court, not public opinion, will decide those questions. I think right now we need to stop and we need to look. I'm thinking at the Title IV because the Title IV is a law that we need to look at and see if there is any connections with Sebastian before we go to the Americans with Disabilities Act. So, yeah, failure to notify. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry. So, Seth, I don't know if you want to talk to Cassie about that. If you want to say anything about the DCS, if that's what she is speaking on, that is. Yeah. So the Title IV, let's go ahead and look at that because the Title IV, let's go ahead and do y'all want to see the chart or do you want to keep listening? Do y'all want to keep listening to the because I've got two videos that talk about the laws and what I'm reading in the court documents. So let me know. Do you want to continue on? He says, nope. Okay. So there is your answer, sweetheart. He says, no. Nope. So the Title IV, let's continue with this. So the Title IV and then the Americans with Disabilities Act. Let's listen in. Yeah, thank you, Cassie. We appreciate that. We definitely appreciate that. Hey, Jasper. The lawsuit, of course, also names the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. The complaint reportedly challenges aspects of the investigation after Sebastian disappeared, including decisions about securing the scene, following investigative leads, communications, and investigative practices. Again, these are allegations. The sheriff's office will have an opportunity to respond, and both sides will have the chance to present evidence. There's Sumner County Sheriff's Office. If they knew about these DCS complaints, then that really changes the whole ballgame here with how they handled the case. This lawsuit isn't about Seth Rogers. If the plaintiffs prevail on their federal claims, the court could order policy changes in addition to awarding damages. That means that this case could influence how DCS investigates reports involving vulnerable children. It could affect notification procedures for parents. It could affect training and supervision. It could affect how agencies like Sumner County and DCS respond when children with disabilities are involved. That's one reason cases like this often receive so much attention. Sometimes the biggest impact isn't the financial award, it's the changes that are made afterward. And that is significant here because other parents shouldn't have to go through this nightmare decade after decade after decade. We have to do something different to get different results. And as this lawsuit moves forward, just remember, this is just the beginning of the legal process. The allegations must now be supported, challenged through evidence. There will likely be motions, discovery, depositions, internal records, emails, case notes, policies, training records. And those documents often become the heart of a federal civil rights case. So for now, what we have is a set of serious allegations and the beginning of what could become a legal, lengthy battle. And as always, my goal is not to tell you what I think, it's to help you understand what the law says, why these legal claims are significant, and what the court will ultimately be asked to decide. Of course, I'm going to be continuing to follow this case. That's right. What the courts will decide. And that brings me to let's go ahead and let me show the Americans with Disabilities Act with Sebastian, and then I'll show you the other video that I created before we actually get into the Title 4. Because I think that this time, I think that this is gonna work out a little bit better. I think it's gonna work out a little bit better. So let me go ahead and do that. Hold on. I mean, I haven't deep dived these charts, but man, I've been waiting for you guys. Like I've been waiting to show it because I've been, back and forth to Nashville, back and forth, back and forth. And it's just been very difficult for me to really do much of anything. I was able to put out this video, this upcoming video that I'm going to show you guys, but man, it's been hard with a grandbaby on the way. My daughter's like, she's about to pop. So it's been hard. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my entire screen with you guys. And now we're going to get into this chart. So let's get into the Americans with Disabilities with Sebastian. I'm going to have Sebastian on the left, as always. And then let's look at the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I'm going to save the other ones, like when the report of the teacher, some of the reports that I found in the DCS reports that gave times and everything and gave dates. I'm going to show you that in another live. But for now, we're going to look at this. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So Sebastian is on the left. We're dueling out the chart and we're just going to connect the numbers first. Okay. We're just connecting numbers. And what I found really interesting with this one is, again, it just gives me chills when I look at it because the Americans Disabilities Act, January 1st, 1990, the 1614 is going right here. So when he went missing, there was a relationship. There was a relationship and we were going back into the past with a relationship, and it's the Americans with Disabilities Act. And this is where Vulcan is sitting with the courts, with the judges, the Sagittarius energy. And there is a lot of warring with relationships and partnerships in the seventh house of Aries. War, the head, the chromosomal deletion. And this is something that is rare. We can't just say that Sebastian Rogers has autism and be done with it. That would be that would be an injustice in itself. Sebastian had chromosomal deletion, very rare, that has barely even been studied. And so the way that you would upbring a child, the way that you would care for a child with DCS, with any of these agencies, is so different. He had a disability. He was born with it. He wasn't diagnosed with autism until later. He was literally born with this chromosomal deletion. So this is showing me that there is a lot of warring with relationships with this act. And I think it's only just begun. I can see Katie here in the fifth house of kids. Katie connects to this 1718 with her desires to hide things with the investigation. And it is a reigniting of a flame with we the people, with groups, with the community, with video. With video. And what does Katie do? She installs video cameras. Right? Right. I even see Kathy Bowersox has an opposition. She has a full-on opposition here. And this goes to the 2944, not only goes to Kathy Bowersox, because I can promise you I've memorized her chart. No matter what time she's born, she's got this in her chart. But there's an opposition because her 2944 is in Aries. But here's the wisdom. That 2944 goes to Virgin Islands. Didn't Kathy go to Virgin Islands? I'll wait. I'll wait. Yes. Yes, she did. She went to the Virgin Islands. So that's why I wanted to show you guys that. Let's continue with this video because I want to show you guys this video. This one, the reckoning video, because we're going to get into, I think that I'm talking about the other one here. So here we go. Here we go. In Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' case have been asking the same exact questions. Where's Sebastian? Where are the answers? And why is there so much silence? On July 15th, 2026, Seth Rogers answered the system with an absolute sledgehammer. He filed a massive federal civil rights lawsuit against the Tennessee Department of Children's Services and the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. But if we look at the cosmos, this isn't just a pile of legal paperwork. It's an absolute cosmic reckoning. Today, we are going to weave together the timeline. We are exposing the exact Sunday night chart when Sebastian vanished, the secret federal statutes fueling this fight, and the upcoming winter courtroom dates that will finally force the state to answer. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's break down the charts. To understand why this lawsuit is so aggressive, we have to look back at the exact night the mystery began, which is Sunday, February 25th, 2024. The chart for that night explains the agonizing fog that has stalled this case. The sky was locked in a heavy Pisces stellium right in the sixth house of administrative logs, daily tracking Sebastian's every day, his health. The sun and Saturn were fused together in the deep, murky waters of Pisces. Pisces rules isolation, confusion, and things that literally dissolve from view. This means the critical data, text messages, and physical tracks of that night were immediately swallowed up by a rigid bureaucratic wall of silence. And when we look at the fifth house of kids, Pluto, the planet of deep structure crisis and hidden power dynamics, was sitting in a tight conjunction with Mars and Aquarius. This tells us that behind closed doors, a massive, highly pressurized systematic crisis was unfolding hours before the world ever even knew Sebastian was gone. When we fast forward to the day of the lawsuit, which was filed on July 15th, 2026, the cosmic energy undergoes a total violent shift from passive water into blazing fire. The lawsuit, launched under a Cancer sun, the ultimate archetype of biological fatherhood and the primal urge to protect family roots. But the true engine of this lawsuit is a highly volatile Moon Saturn conjunction in Aries that sits right there in the eighth house of trauma, death, rebirth, debts, and systemic reckonings. Aries is the warrior. This conjunction represents a father channeling profound grief and years of state enforced roadblocks into a direct legal sword. And how are they swinging that sword? They are using 42 USC section 1983, a historic civil rights weapon born out of the Reconstruction era in 1871. Section 1983 allows everyday citizens to sue state actors for violating their constitutional rights. Backed by Section 1988, this financial engine demands that if Seth wins, the state has to pay for his entire team of civil rights lawyers. Now, here is the legal chess move that makes this case so brilliant. Tennessee has a state law passed in 1973 called the Governmental Tort Liability Act, or the TGTLA. It acts as a shield to grant sovereign immunity, protecting local sheriffs and agencies from being sued for damages in local courts. But Seth's legal team didn't play by the state's rules. They bypassed it. I definitely want to show you guys that because this may be important. I mean, I'm just like so super giddy. This is okay. So, as an astrologer, as an investigative astrologer, okay, this is where this law with the immunity, okay, can't wait to show it to you. Oh gosh, I'm such a geek, man. I'm such a nerd. Wait till you see this. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. I just can't. All right. Let me show you this. Okay, so the Tennessee tort law. Let me just go ahead and show you where the transits are right now because this is getting deep. This is getting deep. So Saturn right here. Saturn's going to slow things down, going to create limits and obstacles, okay? The 1442. What's going to happen, guys? What's happening? And I've been talking about this for freaking days is that the oh shit, hold on. Let me just get this chart right here. Let me fast forward this one and I'm going to show you what's about to happen. Let me show you what's about to happen. So what's going to happen is Saturn is coming to a 1444, okay? And what's going to happen, and it's in Aries, what's going to happen is this 1444, well, it's just going to stay there for days, days and days. Oh, it's going to station. It's going to station there for days. And then it's going to go back in retrograde at a 1444. Now, this is why that matters. It's going to be limits and obstacles for days. And let me bring up the tort law, the tort liability. This is why. This is why. Because what's going to happen is it's going to activate. It's going to activate the Tennessee Governmental Tort Liability Act. And it's going to station and activate this degree in this chart with the law. Absolutely will. And it's in Leo. Leo's about kids. Leo's about publicity. And don't think that I haven't forgotten about the 344 that was in transit, a collective transit when Sebastian went missing, that also goes to Israel, right? Also goes to Israel. And then because that was in transit when he went missing, and I couldn't understand why it was connecting to Sebastian, but it wasn't Israel. No. Oh, no. No, it was this act. And let me tell you something. So does Chris Proudfoot have this Saturn here in the 11th house of how they bring in money with the Tennessee Governmental Tort Liability Act. This is significant for me as an astrologer to see that there is going to be an activation with this act. And I want you to see something. The Mercury at a 1516 in Pisces, the Mercury at a 1516 in Pisces is the same exact degree that Sebastian Rogers has with his Mars. That is the vehicle. That is the action. That is the abuse, Mars, war. So this liability act is also connecting to Sebastian Rogers right here with the things that are murky, the things that we don't see. Here's the little boy, Mercury, right here in the House of Courts. And this 854 is shining with the connection that Seth Rogers and Melissa has, Chris's sister, Melissa, right here. I am so thrilled. I am so thrilled. This 1619, if Shauna is in here, she's going to flip out because there's the 1619. That is the corruption. That has become my pattern for corruption. You don't have to understand anything about the degrees. Just understand what I'm telling you. Plain English. Plain English. Okay. Now I've shown you 3 charts that are connecting to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers with this lawsuit, and woe is me. Whoa is all I can say. Whoa. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal, guys. Phenomenal. I can't love it enough. I absolutely can't love this enough. I knew you'd be tripping out. That has become our pattern for corruption. It goes back to Lyndon Johnson, doesn't it? It does, guys. It does. I can't help it. I'm not making it up. I didn't just make these charts up to make it work. It just does. It just does. No matter. There is a reckoning. There is a reckoning with Seth Rogers taking them to court because things need to change. Things need to change, and I don't mean to point fingers, but y'all know what I'm saying. Things need to change here in the state of Tennessee. I've mapped way too many kids missing out of the state of Tennessee. We need to do better. We need to do better. Okay? Need to do better. Local courts entirely and filed in federal district court using a landmark Supreme Court precedent, Monell versus Department of Social Services, 1978. Monell dictates that local government entities can be sued directly if the violation was caused by an official policy or custom. And we just have to look at this timing. Astrologically, this federal lawsuit was launched while Mercury is in retrograde in Cancer and Mars slicing through Gemini. Cancer and Gemini explicitly rule the home, family roots, local departments, and written documentation. By striking while Mercury is in retrograde in the sign of family and home and things that are hidden at home with Sebastian, this filing acts as a direct, deep audit, penetrating right through the state's 1973 immunity shield and dragging the Sumner County Sheriff's Office directly into federal liability. Inside the complaint, the lawsuit hits them with 2 massive state level claims. The fourth cause of action cites the Tennessee Crime Victims Bill of Rights, passed in 1998 under a truth seeking Sagittarius moon. This law mandates that victims' families be treated with transparency, information, and high professional compassion. The lawsuit alleges DCS and the sheriff's office did the exact opposite, completely freezing a biological father out of his own son's investigation. Then comes the fifth cause of action, negligence and gross negligence. This shifts the fight from legal theories into raw human error. The lawsuit asserts that these agencies didn't just make a simple clerical mistake by ignoring explicit child safety logs, specifically data showing Sebastian Rogers was an active candidate for the federal Title IV-E prevention program, closing the cases anyway. Their conduct was so shocking. It shows an absolute indifference to human life. It represents a complete, reckless breakdown in their basic duty of care. The climax of the paperwork is a prayer for relief. And guys, this is where the velvet gloves come off. Seth Rogers is demanding $15 million from DCS and $10 million from Sumner County. Punitive damages against individual deputies and caseworkers, stripping away their government protections and targeting their personal assets as punishment for their willful failures. Most importantly, injunctive relief. Seth is asking a federal judge to legally force the Sumner County Sheriff's Office to reopen Sebastian's case with adequate resources and completely rewrite their missing persons protocol so no other family has to experience this. Exactly, Lady Freedom. And that truth seeking Sagittarius moon is going to be sitting right in the first house of Sebastian, his life path. There is so much to go over in such a short period of time. But guys, there is so much that I want to show you. And I'm going to be showing you nightmare. So what happens next for all of us who have been fiercely invested in Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' case? Well, the cosmos has already set the trial timer. I'm thinking that by August 2026, as summer rolls forward, we need to be watching for a fast approach structural shift. It's my opinion that the state may launch an aggressive push to dismiss these claims using illegal technicalities. And then by December 11th, 2026, Saturn is going to station directly on that 14-degree Aries, this exact degree of this lawsuit's filing. The period of state stalling and administrative delays officially ends here. I'm thinking that the federal judge will lock in strict, unyielding deadlines. And by February 2027, Mars and Mercury, well, they're going to hit the exact mathematical degree of the Sunday night disappearance chart for Sebastian. This is, in my opinion, when the cross-examination window will open. DCS caseworkers and county detectives will be forced into hostile federal depositions under oath. The hidden case files, text logs, and redacted records from February 25th, 2024 will finally be dragged into the courtroom light. And guys, I have got all the charts. I'm going to be doing lives. Yep. I do have all the charts, and we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be looking at this because December 11th, we need to be looking at that. Like, I think that the next live that I do, I'm going to push these dates forward and looking at the Disabilities Act, looking at all of these. The one chart that have not showed you guys yet, yeah, we're going to ride the wave. The one chart they're going to look at is the Title IV. We need to look at the Title IV because that is the prevention. Okay. So we need to look at that, I think. I definitely think we need to look at that chart. I've got so many charts to show you, and I don't want to overwhelm you with all of the charts. Okay. But I do want to show you guys the Title IV chart. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up. Because this is important. It's important. Even if you don't understand astrology, this is so important. So let me save this December 11th because I'm going to be doing deep dives with this because this is when Astraea is going to come back. And I already see things going on with the TBI. I see that 17, 18 again. There is a lot that's happening here. Okay. And this is when Mars is coming against. There's so much to see here. So much to see here. But let me just go ahead and pull up the Title IV with Sebastian. Hold on. Hold up, guys. So Title IV, where's Sebastian? Let me go ahead and get Sebastian first. There it is. And then Title IV, where is it at? Title IV, there's the tort liability. Where's the Title IV? Let me look at it. There it is, right there. Family Prevention Services Act, Title IV. So this is, wow, this is a crazy chart here. I see a lot here with the United States. Dang. I see a lot with that. Let me see where it would connect. Oh my gosh, it's got the 2658 too. Look at that, with things of the past. With things of the past, the 2658. So the 2658 is going to ignite the title 4. Interesting. Interesting. It's going to ignite with things of the past, with groups, with we the people, with video. The title 4. Whoa. Let me see if I've got any more of the title 4. This is the families first. This would be the prevention. Okay, so this is where they would have taken Sebastian out of the home, foster care, without even talking to his dad. Absolutely crazy. Crazy that the dark moon is at, oh wow. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so that's how he connects to that. Let me go back and see if I have any more title 4. I think I already showed you the American Disabilities Act. Let me see. Civil rights. Monell. The Monell, that's the other law. And then I got all kinds of different laws. Okay, here is the other title 4, the administrative candidacy. Let me see if Sebastian connects to this one as well. I've got 2 charts, different charts for the title 4. There it is, right there. This is so interesting to me. Okay, so Sebastian's on the left. We're looking on the right. Let me see what. Oh, yeah. Well, guys, there's definitely a Saturn here. So I see Seth right here with the values and the action that he is taking using the title 4. Basically, this is saying it pissed him off and there's limits and obstacles. Limits and obstacles with the warring Sebastian Rogers wars with being taken out of the home, and there is limits and obstacles with DCS right here, right there. Oh yeah, Seth receives information here. There is so much in this. Oh, look at that, 2214. We know that that goes to Sebastian. There's leads. When I said that there's a lead coming in with the dark moon, when the dark moon hit that 2214, there it is. It shakes things up with the Title 4 candidacy program. Oh my gosh. Wow, look at this. And the weight of money, the weight of values on that Title 4 goes exactly to the values and the Venus of Sebastian with the quartz in that second house. My gosh. I know that you guys don't understand what I'm telling you. And the Chiron is going to Melissa. Melissa, the sister of Chris Proudfoot. Interesting that she is connecting to the Title 4 as well. And so is her mother. So is Kathy Bowersox. The things that she learns, things that she is going to be taught. And I can only hope and pray that these connections are going to work out in the way that we want them to. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember if the 2046 is also with the Title 4 is also going to TBI. Let me go back up to the TBI and see if they have that 2046 because I think that there is an opposition with them. With that 2046, let me look at the TBI again. Yes. Yes, the TBI has definitely got a connection to this Title 4. Let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. Right there. My goodness gracious. So the 2046 is their every day. It's their job. It's with the law enforcement. It's with contracts. It's with the government. And the 2046 is where they get a slowdown with the values and the money, honey. Wow. I can't make it up. I can't make it up. I don't know the TBI's chart enough to like go through all of these and say, oh, there's this connection, there's this connection, but there are some connections because the TBI has an opposition with Sebastian Rogers, with the intensity and with them thinking that, he is deceased. There's a lot of things that I think that the TBI, they do well. The TBI does well with offenders, but they don't do well if there's not an offender involved. We need to look at all the cases here in Tennessee and think, there's way too many cases here in this state that is also in the filing that have not been solved. The majority of the cases have not been solved. And we need to do something different to get different results. And if that takes suing them to get different results for not just Sebastian, but for the future kids that go missing, that's exactly what needs to be done. And that is exactly why Seth is doing it. And I applaud you, Seth, for doing that. Mm. Sebastian deserves more. And there's not enough money in the world. Not enough money. Seth, I applaud you. I appreciate everything that you have been doing. It's a breath of fresh air to see that this is I know that it's been I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I know that it's got to be difficult. Very difficult. And yeah, the lies are going to have to come out. The all the things that have been done that actually all the things that haven't been done need to be brought to light because no matter if anybody lives in this state and you have kids or you have grandkids like I do, and you have noticed the patterns, the jurisdiction's not communicating, there is a lot of problems here. And our children deserve more. And it's sad that this has went on as long as it has, but perhaps there is going to be more that's going to come out that will help us find Sebastian Rogers, Yeah, just lay it all on the table. Even if we don't know about it, even if we don't see it, Seth needs to know what's been happening in his own son's investigation and what hasn't been done, what's been known, what was known, and the things that weren't done to prevent this incident from taking place because it's been a freaking nightmare. We feel the empathy, but he feels the nightmare every single second of the day. Every single second. So I appreciate you guys for being here with me tonight. I so appreciate you being Sebastian's army, being a support system for Seth. And like I said, I'm going to be continuously showing charts, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Going to make your head spin because I'm going to be looking at it all and trying to understand the end game. Maybe I'll be right, maybe I won't, but I'm definitely going to learn. And isn't that what life is all about? Learning, learning, helping each other. And that's all we can do is help each other through the good times, through the bad times, and continuously just keep handing Sebastian's flyer out. That's all we can do. calling on places, like we did with Georgia with the Villarica sighting. She called it in. Miss Betty called that sighting in. Did anybody ever go to Georgia? I mean, she called it into the FBI. She called it into TBI. Did anybody ever go to Georgia? Don't know. Seth don't know. He ended up calling them. They had no clue who Sebastian was. There was nothing. They became aware. And that's something else, when an Amber Alert goes out, wouldn't all law enforcement agencies know to be on the lookout for a kid? I mean, we're talking about just a state away in Georgia. They didn't know. Didn't know. This was 3 days after he went missing that this sighting was called in. 3 days. 3. And that was in Georgia. One state away. Gotta do better. Gotta do better, and if we need to force them to do better, that's what needs to happen. So, I'm sorry, Seth, that you are enduring this nightmare, and I'm sorry that this had to be done, but it had to be done. All right? Until my next live, guys, until my next video. I love you guys. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. Peace out.